YouTube, Damer_23 here, and welcome back to another episode of Glory Hunter. Today's episode we are going to be talking about this Newcastle squad of ours. If you like on the content, give it a like, subscribe, and let me know if you would have joined Newcastle. Big reason why I joined Newcastle was Jeremy Pino. I was very happy that this was the case and that we're going to get him. I haven't really seen for today, but I can't seem to renege out of this contract bid. I didn't realise Jeremy Pino had a 150 mil release fee and had already negotiated a deal with PSG. If I knew that, I probably would have actually swayed towards Wolfsburg because he's such a good elite winger. Saying that though, I think we could find someone to replace him for 115 mil and gives me more money in other areas. Since we last met, I haven't really done too much. I've just done a team meeting. Look, I need to make sure we get the right team out here as well. In today's episode, we're going to look for a backup midfielder, probably another, box-to-boxy sort of midfielder because we've got a lot of aggressive attacking midfielders looking to bring in. We need a left back more than likely, unless I keep the guy that's currently here, which, look, to be fair, I'm very close to doing in Marmol because he does everything you want from a backup left back as well, and he looks like he's happy to be a backup left back, which is perfect. And I think we're going to keep him, but I might go after someone English just to help with registration rules as well. It does depend. And outside of that, it's just finding the right players, a backup striker, all that sort of stuff. So, look, I'll be interested to see what we can do here within this episode. Without further ado, we're going to go through and scout and see what we can find. As you can see here, we are predicted at the moment to finish 6th, play a diamond. I won't be playing a diamond. And we definitely need to go through and see what sort of prospects I do have in and around the St. James Academy here. There's a wonder kid in the... Okay, yeah, you're in, son, you're in. There's a backup defender if you ever seen it. Move to the senior squad. Thank you. Didn't even realise that we got this kid in here. He's Italian and Newcastle signed him and he is not eligible for a while. There you go. Finding out about me. Eligibility. He's got 511 days. Well, you're playing for me, mate. What's your best position, Bolden? Can play right back, can play ball playing defender. Beautiful. There's another centre back. There we are. That means you are going to set the bid. Morgala's going to learn to play left back where he played last year in the Champions League final. And that old Bolden guy is going to come in and learn to play at centre back. There you go. Didn't realise. Anyone else in the 19 before I end this part? That was a very good pickup. In the 18 squad, there is a defensive midfielder that looks this good at a young age. Probably a little bit too early for him to come through. With Greg Smith as a right back. And in the under-21s, we have Michael Saint, who has got great passing ability. And this guy here is not particularly great. Okay, but there is some players in and around that we've got to keep our eye on. Without further ado, we're going to see what we can spend. And yeah, Jeremy Pino, unfortunately, is going to be leaving us before I get a chance to use him, which is really sad. Welcome back, YouTube. I am back, not even 10 days later, into my tenure here at Newcastle, and I've already made 2 monster signings that are going to start here in the Prem. Obviously, on the out, we do have Jeremy Pino. He has officially gone to PSG for the whopping 115 mil. But what it's allowed me to do is bring in a couple of players that have the little golden star next to their name, which means that we've noted them here. And well, boys, there's a couple of names that we have to speak about. Secondly, before we get into it, we did also get Mika Marmol went. We renegotiated with Man United to get 48 million for this, which is ridiculous. But yeah, look, I'm very happy. 44 million. Do apologise. But yeah, look, I could play centre back, could play left back. It's fine. Look, I'm going to talk about the one that people will definitely remember from recent. It is Roman Tisny. The main reason that I left when I left AC Milan was this kid has to come with me. French international, being part of my French Euros and World Cup squad, if I make it past the Euros, which the plan would be too, I need a guy that needs to come in and be absolutely fantastic. I need him to play first team minutes. He's coming in to be the number 1 midfielder alongside Bellingham and Sivert. Look, I think we have a world-class midfield. Let's be honest, I really do. If you look at him, he's got great first touch, great passing, great vision, great off the ball, flair, decisions, composure, anticipation, agility, acceleration. Oh, I love him. He's unbelievable. Had a really good time in 22 games, only 14 starts for Milan, and the year before, 24 games in total with only 10 starts. So I think he's primed and ready. 86 mil is a lot of money. A lot of that is over 3 years, and if we win the Champions Leagues and stuff like that. But it is 86 mil. But I reckon he's worth it. We've still got 131 mil to spend, and these guys might be excited by the second person. Lewis Brown, if you have a look at the note, It was season 1 with West Ham, and he came through and he looks godly. Look how well rounded he is as an English 20-year-old. Going to help with registration in the Champions League. Also helps he as an under 22 player in the league. He's English. Have a look at him. He's physically world class. Nearly got 15 pace. He's also got great finishing ability with composure. He's also 6'1". He is going to play out here on the right. I am going to use him as his inside forward, which means I'm going to go 2 inside forwards. I'd rather have one creative, one inside forward, but Isaac and him are 2 guys that need to do it. The only issue for me is he likes to play back towards goal. My staff don't want me to out-train that. Fair enough too, because he's going to be naturally fit. You know, all those 15s are going to be 15 plus. I just think that he's coming in to start. He thinks he's coming to be a squad player. He's coming in to start because Sane's 31. I'd rather give a guy that I spent time in investing in at West Ham in my first 2 years here to come and give me the fruition. And this is the reason why I like the story of Glory Hunter. I went out, I scouted Tisney. I saw France's best ever regen in League 2. I picked him up. I brought him to AC Milan. I trained him. Now I'm going to get him in his prime or in his prime wonder kid years. Off we go. Lewis Brown came through my academy. I gave him game time as a young kid here at West Ham. You know, I gave him 4 games through here. I gave him a couple cup games. West Ham started to use him as the AI, and now I've gone, you know what, he's primed, he's ready to go, and if there's a long-term history to Osimhen, he's going to be the guy up front as well. Leaves me in a position where that's the team. At the minute, that was the team I rolled into day 1 with. I'm very happy. You know, Katker, Frimpong, Perez, Lacroix, Merlin. Important to note that Frimpong and Perez are both happy if we finish in the Europa League spot to stay at the end of the season. Osimhen wants to finish Champions League, he wants to leave. If I finish in the Europa League spot and he wants to leave, I will sell him and we'll buy another winger and move Isaac up front. The midfield 3 is world class. You've got Sivert with Jude Bellingham with Tisney. Do I need to say more? Brown with Isaac and Osimhen is very good. Like, if you're looking at a 3-star player, he is virtually at this good Premier League level. He's already 3.5 star if you play him in his right position. I'm playing him in here. You know, if you look at Jude Bellingham, he is a leading player at 4-star, but that's because apparently he doesn't play ball-winning midfielder. I think he does. I've actually gone really aggressive in the middle of the park here. I've gone with one ball-winning midfielder with an advanced playmaker sentiment on attack. I like a box-to-box midfielder. I just think we're going to be that good and that aggressive, and Jude Bellingham needs to be released. I've gone sentiment on attack. Have a look at some of the names we've got on the bench. We've got Nick Pope as a backup keeper. We've got Saelmakers. Bolden is an Argentinian that they picked up. Milinkovic is unbelievable. Morgala can play left and right back, so I'm very happy with that. And centre back. Saelmakers can do a lot of things himself. You got Great. You got Bruno Guimaraes, who can play box to box and do all sorts. Leroy Sané is a fantastic player. Dan Juma for me is good enough to stay here for now for a season to hopefully recut. We're looking at other people I'm trying to bring in. This Manu guy came in as a bit of a regen. Happy to pick him up. Happy to have a look at maybe him being the Portuguese best, regen going through the save. Other players we're looking to bring in on the ins. Very simply put, Iwamoto. There's a reason why I left 1 year left on his deal. 3-star would come in, be a box-to-box midfielder, and I think that I can give him more game time here at Newcastle. Because, to be fair, I have no ties to Bruno, I have ties to this guy. I think he can come in, he can play a lot more minutes to me in the middle of the park. And lastly, Akambi is being released. He has officially been released by Hippus. I've gone after him. Unfortunately for us, so is the rest of bloody England. And a couple other clubs, as you can see here. Monaco, Milan, my former club, West Ham, Newcastle, Man United, and Liverpool, all in for him. I've put in 20k a week for him. He's tutored to be the next David Seaman. I'm telling you right now, if he comes in, ladies and gentlemen, he will be my cup goalkeeper for this year. Nick Pope will be number 3, and I want this guy to grow into being one of the better keepers in the world, if possible. So, we've got transfers on the way in. We have a look at the season preview. Predicted to still finish 6th. They reckon it's going to be Sane with Bellingham with Tisney with Isaac and Osimhen. Fair enough if I play Diamond. They still reckon Morgala is going to play in the back 4. I don't think he does. I don't think he gets in over Perez. It's close. Like, don't get me wrong. It is very close, but I don't think so. Apparently, Morgala is a better defender, maybe. I don't see it. Pablo Sanz is the guy. Maybe we have a quick look here. Maybe we do play Morgala. Pablo Sanz has got okay ability to judge people. Stephen Harper's pretty good at what he does too. Mongala's more left foot than right foot. I don't think Perez is more right foot, but okay left foot, and Lacroix is dual footed. I think they're very similar. The only thing I like about him is 6'2" with this physicals. Like, he's very good. I reckon as a covering centre-back, he would be outrageously good. Don't know about that. I haven't really played with a covering centre-back at all. Could play with two covering centre-backs. Maybe Mangala in there, and then maybe Perez is the one that makes way. But then I need a backup left back because Mangala would be the backup left back for the season. Some makers could play out there, and Bolden can play at right back. So we could train him to play at left back. That's fine. And I'm going to keep Stephens and Dylan, by the way, because he's Newcastle homegrown, so he'd probably be good for the Champions League registration as well. But that's the team at the minute. Next time we come back, I'm going to look to target a backup striker and a backup midfielder. Hopefully it's Iwamoto. If it's not someone else, then so be it. But look, the team looks in a really good spot, and we'll see what we can do. Okay, YouTube. Opening day of the season, and we have to talk about the squad players that we picked up. Did we get a Cumby? No, he chose to go AC Milan. Shame. But look, we've got everything else that we've got in order. The team's looking good. We have a little bit of unrest, and then we're going to play Norwich, who, of course, are in the Super Cup and in the Champions League this year. So, yes, that is correct. Norwich in the Champions League. I did recap it last episode, but by the way, that's their best player, and he's only 20. Jesus, that's a keeper. I'm going to scout you and put you in the shortlist for the long term. But yeah, look, Norwich have kind of done some wonderful things on this save. You know, they went out there, they finished 11th the year before, but won the FA Cup. They then went into the Europa League and won the Europa League. I recapped it last episode. Wagner's been in charge. Weird and wacky save. I love it. But let's talk about ourselves here in the group dynamics firstly. Managerial support is poor because we have a lot of players unhappy. Bruno Guimaraes wants to leave with Champions League football. Promised him he'll play in the, be in Europe at some point. Isaac's complained to the team that he wants to join Liverpool to play in the Champions League. I rejected that bid. I did reject 89 mil and then reject 99 mil. I want to keep him. Lacroix wants to leave. 6 people agree. Out of all the players, because we have a good amount of centre-backs, if I got to build a bid of 70, 80, 90 mil, I don't mind taking this one. But it is what it is. Nuno Perez, we've made some promises to. Frimpong, Osimhen and Saelmakers. Hopefully this will increase with results. The club atmosphere is okay, but something to definitely take a note of, especially joining a club that didn't meet their goals the year before. Sometimes it's a bit of a harder managerial slog, and that's why we sold Charles, if you remember, at AC Milan, because we couldn't afford it. The main reason why I don't want to sell these players here was the main reason I wanted to take this team on board was the squad was so good. Now let's talk about the players that did come in. Now, firstly, Sergio is playing at 19 here at Brazil. I put a bid in for him for his 14.5 mil release here because it means that if I sell Lacroix, I have a left back. Mugala can move back into being the backup centre back or starting. And it goes from there. Bit of a wonder kid, can tackle, can mark, can cross, can do a fair bit. So also half Portuguese, which is good to keep an eye on. As you can see, that 98 mil bid from Arsenal after rejecting the 89 mil from Liverpool still there for Isaac. But let's look good at the transfer history, and there's going to be some names that you know here. In terms on the outs, Danilo we sold for 35 mil. That's the Danilo that was at Forest and then Fulham, and then he went to Newcastle and I've sold him on for 35 mil. Dan Giro we sold for 26 mil, which means we needed a backup winger, but at 30 years of age to get good money was not too bad. And then the rest of these signings I obviously didn't do much with. Graham Cole, I think I sold as well. The Strom Guts needs to play to become better for Australia. In terms of those guys that you haven't seen, it's we knew about Hiroshi Iramoto maybe coming in. He's 3-star, he's fantastic, he's a wonder kid, he's 19. I'm going to give him some game time this year. Manu, I believe I touched on, but officially joined and got a work permit, so he's going to be in and around the squad at 19. But the two bigger names are here. Here. Smith Rowe for 38 mil, goes up and claws at about 45. The whole reason of signing Dan Juma was to get an Englishman backup winger in. Smith Rowe was wanting to leave Arsenal and was unhappy. I think it's just a very good pickup. Someone that's been in and around the league, has played a lot of games for Arsenal of late, 23 games last season, 7 starts only though. So knows how to be a backup player, averaged over a 7 for Arsenal when they finished 7th for one the FA Cup last year, or 8 from one the FA Cup, so not a bad player. And then backup striker wise, I mentioned him when I left. I was like, look, Kevin Kukui could be really good. Now, they wanted too much money for Luca Amico, and I don't want to take the Italian out of the AC Milan squad because he's Italian. But as an advance forward, this kid could be really, really, really good. At 20 years of age, he's had a very good preseason. He's going to start because Osimhen picked up an injury against Shakhtar in our last preseason game, which I'll recap in a second. He's very good at what you want. He's got great finishing, got great technique, got great off the ball, good balance, 14 in composure, first touch, anticipation, acceleration, pace, stamina. You would teamwork, work rate. You would imagine they all get to 15, and he looks a little bit more elite. Please remember that 2.5 star is a decent to good Premier League player, and if he hits that potential, he's good to leading. So I think as a backup, on a cheap amount of money is not too bad. But that's the squad. If we were to line up full strength, you're looking at Kratko, Frimpong, Perez, Lacroix, Merlin, Sivet, Tisney, Bellingham, Brown, Isaac, and Osimhen. You're only allowed 9, not 11 on the bench, so you've got Sailmakers, who we're giving a new contract to, even though I was open to selling. Milinkovic not starting, but he will start some games. So Morgala, Ugrate is the backup defensive mid. Bruno can play here and there. Iwoto, Sane, Smith Rowe, and Kevin Kukui. In terms of what we are going to start with is Bolden, who is a young Argentinian. I'm going to give some game time to where possible. And Kevin Kukui is going to come in for Osimhen. And we are going to bring to the bench Manu to maybe give him a debut as well. In terms of the season preview here, we are still predicted to finish 6th. The best keeper in the league plays for Norwich, which is Weldy. But yeah, Newcastle, here is what they predict. They still reckon we're going to play a 4-1-2-1-2, but with Iwoto and Tisney starting, which I kind of like. But yeah, we're definitely going to play our system. They reckon Morgala should be starting. To be fair, I'm very tempted to do that as well. Apparently Leeds, by the way, are in the UCL, so they must have finished or won the Carabao Cup. They finished 7th. There you go. They're predicted to get relegated. Bit interesting there. Let's get into the game though. We're in a very good spot. Obviously Kukui coming in and a few people on the bench. We've got Norwich away. Let's get into it. I think this is a very good game to start with. Yes, Lewis Brown will be my starting right winger. Yes, Tisney is going to be my starting attacking midfielder. I brought both of them in as kids we've used in the past to say here is your spot. Only problem is from here, I think it's going to be hard for me to take Tisney and Brown. I might be able to take Tisney somewhere else as well. Anyhow, without further ado, there is the team. Let's get into it. Let's see what we can do. 2 people need squad numbers. Bolden needs a defender number, so 15's fine. Manu, I'm going to give you 27 because you want a number 7 in your name. Off we go into the dressing room. They've got a pretty good side, this Norwich team. So it'll be interesting to see what we can do. Let's have a look at those players that are in there. We know about the keeper, and he's a world-class keeper because he's the best keeper in the league. They've got Aaron Hickey. They still got Andrew Omabanadelli there as well. Isaiah Jones, who was their leading goal scorer last year. Solomon as well was on loan there. Elliot Anderson. It's not like, oh my god, what a squad. How they're in the Champions League, I don't know. Nene Arthur Cabral was not a bad striker, but yeah, that's very interesting. Adam Ida's still there. Draws into a little bit. It's a very fun team, that Norwich side, for sure. Anyway, look, cannot wait. Let's see what we can do. Early wins is going to be important for us to stem the group dynamics of side of the thing, right? We know that the group dynamics are currently a little bit whatever, but it's the early part of it. I've made you Bellingham the A. I made him vice captain. Katko's still captain because he was captain last year, so I would have made Bellingham captain. The squad's in a really good space. I think this is a perfect game against a decent side to go out there, shake off a little bit of Madison, get going here. And we know this 4-for-3 can play very, very well. Now, we're obviously in the black and the white. They're in the yellow. 2 teams that had a very good year last year. Look, without putting it in inverted commas, as that's a great save and a half by Kako to deny Arthur Cabral at the back stick. Yeah, weird stadium, Norwich. But look, I think we can manufacture a 6th place finish. I don't want to go out here and go, okay, we're going to go and do what we need to do. The beauty of Glory Hunter is you kind of need to. I think if we could be solid away from home, where we need to, get a lot of results and win a lot of games at home, we'll be fine. And then maybe just, like I said, be ultra aggressive a bit. It's the big 6, the big 5 teams in front of us. And then, yeah. Anyway, long ball. Brown wins the secondary. Isaac now needs runners. Ignored it, went for goal himself, and Markovic makes a fantastic save, the Serbian international. And there we go, 13 minutes in, warning shot from us. We've had 61% of the ball, but it looks like Norwich playing that very deep 4-4-2 and just hit teams on the break, so that's pretty fine. With that being said, free kick, Merlin taking it, our left back. Whips it, Markovic makes a save, Kevin Kukui gets on the ball and that's going to get cleared. Not a bad start to this match, very, cut and thrust, where the team on the ball looking to dominate and get going, where they're the team that are very much sitting there looking to absorb. 7 shots, 6 on target, good amount of possession, so I like how we're playing out here for now. I think it's very good. Now, Merlin again on the set piece. Civet doesn't get there. Merlin's going to have opportunity to recycle with Lacroix. What a ball. Brown's there. Lewis Brown, the guy who regened out of the West Ham Academy in Season 1 where we started the save. In Season 6, scores our first goal in charge of Newcastle. And wow. Please note, by the way, FA Cup this year, this team will play most games of the FA Cup to make sure that we try and win the FA Cup because that's needed. We are not leaving England until we win the FA Cup, unless sacked, of course. But we do score right before half-time. We are 1-0 up. Lewis Brown with the goal. I'm delighted with the performance. Start the second half. Obviously, we've had Katko make a massive save at the back, but it's a very good start from us here, and hopefully we can continue on. Ball in back stick, got some height there. They head it over there with Nato, whatever his name is. Simon Nato. There you go. Anyway, Jones will ball in, Katko will claim. Captain doing well. Lacroix, Merlin, Tisney, Merlin. Needs someone to drop in, Isaac does. Back to Lacroix, Merlin, Tisney. Kevin Kukui dropping in nicely. Great secondary run from Isaac. Needs numbers through the middle. He went for goal himself. Fair strike over the bar, unfortunately. But very, very, very well done. Time is ticking away. Here we are, 1-0 to the good. With that being said, I am actually going to go and say Lewis Brown, you've had a very good game. His name is Leroy Sane, inverted winger on attack. We are going to move Isaac up front, and Kevin Kukui is going to come off for Smith Rowe. He's also going to move as an inverted winger on attack. And Tisney's going to come off for Iwawoto. He's going to go in a box-to-box here to really just help out the midfield. And he's going to play alongside Jude Bellingham. Some good names to be bringing on, huh? Sane, Smith Rowe, Iwawoto. It's not a bad spot to be in. Time ticking away though. Only was still 1-0, 15 minutes away from home. Ball's headed away. And Kamara had probably more time than he realised, but it looks for Nene, and Nene just thumps it into the channel and just looks to get yardage. Frimpong now needs some help. Lacroix drops in. Back four's actually been really good today. Iwawoto, Smith Rowe, looks for Isaac. Great ball. Alexander Isaac, there you go, 2-0. Moved him up front to allow for his pace and a little bit more directness. Smith Rowe on his debut with an assist. And Isaac scores. And, that might drive the price of his transfer up another 10 to 15 mil. I'm not going to take anything less than 120. But there he is. Isaac picks the ball up. Side foots past the keeper. We lead 2-0. With that being said, I'm going to get Lacroix off for Bolden. Apparently he can play ball playing defender. Has he got passing ability? Oh, he's got 14 passing ability. Yeah, that's fine. And we're going to bring in Manu for Civet to give him his debut as well. 2-0 up, I think we can do that. Couple of debuts for a few of the youngsters. And there we are. Leroy Sane on a ball. Backstick cleared away, only as far as Merlin, who's had a pretty good game on the left back. Sane. Smith Rowe. Whips it. Isaac hits the bar and over. Would have been a great goal for 3-0. It's been a superb opening day. You've seen the range of the squad. I'm very, very happy with how everything's gone out here. Clean sheet. A pretty dominating display in terms of possession. Yeah, to be fair to Norwich, I actually like how they set up really deep and hit teams on the break. But look, most of our big name players, they're doing a job. Lewis Brown scoring in his debut. Smith with an assist on his debut as well. Bellingham, vice captain now, in the middle of the park, ran the show. Back four, kept the clean sheet. Katko had a very good game in goal. I'm very, very happy with that. And that's going to be the end of episode number 58. If you have enjoyed, give it a like. Do subscribe to the YouTube channel. Man City have just hired Polly as their manager. So Man City have sat their manager late, or have lost their manager very late on. And yeah, that Man City job could have been huge. But look, we've gotten the Newcastle job. The squad looks fantastic. We're only going to get better when Osimhen's in the team. And look, to be fair, in terms of what we're going to show you this year, it's not really going to be too many games in the league. I'm going to leave a lot of games in and around for you guys to ponder. The FA Cup, especially because we've got the Europe, is the main focus. So I might give you guys the sporadic game in November or October or, something around there. Maybe the Arsenal Man United doubleheader. To see where we sit is maybe the next point of call. I know that's a lot of games in between, like Man City, Liverpool. But we don't need to do a lot of episodes this year. And we need to save those episodes for the fifth round FA Cup beyond, because it's just so important for the save. Have we made the right decision coming here over Wolfsburg? I think we have, because I just think the FA Cup potential is just so huge, and there will always be a job in Germany at some point. And if we can get it all done, and we can still somehow finish in a spot for the Europa League, I think we'll be okay. Till next time, thank you and goodbye.
What are you doing?